Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 4th of September 2013. So in today's news we have quite a few cool things. The first one is an interview with Convert to Raid. Really pretty interesting stuff. Also some blue tweets about the new character models, a few other interesting things, and a bit of a PSA. So let's get into it. Now for the interview, they said that the Siege of Orgrimmar begins in Pandaria, and the reason for that is because you don't just end up going back to Orgrimmar. Instead you lead, you kind of get the story that takes you there, which is nice. I think the idea of having a raid being a bit of a self-contained story in itself is pretty cool. I'd worry that they could kind of repeat the sort of issues that Dragon Soul had, but I don't think they will. And from my experience of the raid, it's actually very, very fun. I know Nazgrim's really fun, Iron Juggernaut's really fun, Galakras is really fun, Mercius is really fun. I've just enjoyed all the bosses that I've done so far. It really should be great. Even on LFR, although it will have some unique problems as you'll see in today's other video. Now they also said that Gammon is one of the more notable things in Siege of Orgrimmar, and people really like Gammon apparently. I'd never played up the Horde leveling experience, so unfortunately I don't know much about the guy, but it was enough to get him an achievement called Gammon Will Save Us. That's pretty cool. Now the next thing's actually pretty interesting. It's something that I think is a major game design problem with World of Warcraft. Yes, they said that Valour gear was originally added to complement normal difficulty raiding for filling in with bad luck. Now the problem is that it continued to work like this for the normal raiders, but for the players who just do LFR, that stuff's their best in slot gear. It replaces their LFR drops. So, the end game for an LFR player, it resulted in a few weeks of grinding through the LFRs to get your gear, and then making sure you cap every week on Valour. There's no fun in that. You know, what are you getting this new gear for is one thing I'd, say, because I suppose maybe you want to put up bigger numbers in LFR, you want to be able to solo things faster, stuff like that. But it's not really a compelling way to get the best gear in the game. I'll be honest, if the best gear I could get in the game was Valour point gear, I'd be pretty pissed. And funny, this is not a problem that I've ever seen, because I've had a really secure, solid raiding guild. But I can see, if you don't have that, and having the only way for you to get the really good gear is to literally, you buy a piece of gear and they're like, ah, great, I can buy another piece of gear in 3 weeks. That's awful. That's terrible. I literally feel bad for them, and I don't mean that as in I'm looking down. I mean, it sucks that the way Blizzard have sort of crafted their experiences that way, and I think they deserve better, and I think there's definitely something we can do that's better. Now, in the Siege of Orgrimmar in patch 5.4, this Valour system is gone, actually. You no longer will be able to get Valour gear, just off a vendor like you did with the Shadowpan Assault. Instead, Valour seems to be pretty much relegated to item upgrades only. Now, I think this is a better system, and I know, first of all, you might be like, whoa, they're taking things from our game. They're not. In the Timeless Isle, you'll be able to get 535 gear. Now, the LFR gear is 528, so already you have an increase in item level there for non-raiding and weekly capped content, so that's one nice thing. Also, the Valour points that you do get, you'll be able to spend them every week on upgrades, so you'll always be seeing your gear level increase. I think that's better than... You see, the thing is, the item upgrade system was pointless because you wouldn't want to upgrade your LFR gear, because the biggest item level increase you could get is just buying a new piece of Shadowpan Assault gear. So I think that the new patch will actually majorly affect this in a good way. Hopefully this Valour system is something we continue to work on, and hopefully we never really return to the stage where we have, a Shadowpan Assault equivalent. Because at the end of the day, that was meant to pad out bad luck for normal raiders. Nowadays, that bad luck is padded out by the upgrade system, meaning that all of the Shadowpan Assault stuff does is hurt the regular players, like the LFR people, because it gives them a really boring form of gear progression. So, good stuff for you guys, really good stuff. Now, also they said that, yes, the devs were trying to attract players with to higher levels of difficulty by adding new things rather than taking away old things. Now, this is a design philosophy which pretty much says, there's awesome shit, come here, instead of, you're doing a crappy thing, move to the cool one. I think this is better, keeps players happy. It's very good in the sort of whole LFR flex thing, because I think it would be bad if they started damaging LFR. Now that they've now it's in the game, they can't really remove it, so I think it's better just like to add new systems that are going to take people away from LFR by being awesome. If people can see Flex as being not some ultra hardcore thing, just being a cool casual way to raid, you can maybe get a pug in your server, get a guild together. Even if you're in like a social leveling guild, you'll probably still be able to field a group for that, which is pretty cool. And it's not like you need to do 3 hours at a time, 3 days a week. No, you probably only need an hour or two a week, honestly. Maybe 3 hours a week, and you'll still be able to do good progression. So yeah, I think that's good. Also, doing things like the specific they said was the heirlooms. As we know, there's new heirloom weapons that come from Garrosh. They're a nice reward for people who put in the extra effort and do the harder content, but they don't hurt people who haven't done them when it comes to leveling up next expansion. So it's good stuff. Now, they also said that every spec can get gold in the Proving Grounds for their appropriate role, but not every spec will be able to get into Endless. This is really just because of the way that the different specs work, and it's unfortunate, but they did stress that you should only be comparing yourself to the same class and spec, which really I would have thought sort of goes without saying, but apparently it goes with saying. And the final thing that they mentioned is that there are some players that don't want to do the Brawlers Guild because they don't want to have other players watching them make mistakes. Well, that kinda sucks. I mean, come on, everyone's friendly. I've done dumb shit and nobody's being a dick to me, so I don't know. I guess that's a bit of a weird problem, but I like I wouldn't change it at all. I like the idea that it's a place where people can hang out and watch each other fight. It's in the spirit of the Brawlers Guild, so I think it should stay. Now, blue tweets. So, they said they've been working the new models for ages, but not working non-stop. So when they said that that they were 25% done, people took this as being, holy crap, you've been working for like, I don't know, 6 months, and you're only 25% done? No, they said that it will take a lot more work, but not as much time than people think. Because when they shifted up the priority scale, more and more developers are working on it, therefore it's not going to take years, so don't worry, it's fine guys. And he said there was definitely a lesson in not talking about things too soon, definitely was. Now he was also talking about, well I say he by the way, I mean Ghostcrawler. Yeah, he was talking about the Ashenvale redo, not really having enough bang for its buck, and it was interesting. Now that's kind of not, it's not taken out of context, but you know, it's a little snippet from what he said. The rest of it wasn't really that interesting. So I think that actually they did spend a little bit too long on old world stuff, and it was to the expense of the old game. Now the problem is, the old world was so bad that it was keeping players from the game, so I think perhaps it was a necessary evil. If you look at the new Ashenvale or some of those new zones, they're really damn fun. Like, I really enjoy them. I think they're better than the max level Cataclysm leveling zones, you know, like Vashir and all those places, so it's hard, isn't it? I suppose they had so many zones in the world. Like, it used to be that you'd have to go through most of the zones in the world to level up, and that was cool because you were an adventurer exploring the world. Nowadays, though, you only really do a few zones in the world, and then you're at level 60 and you're off to Outland. It's a weird thing. I don't really know what I think about it, so I just thought I'd mention it and maybe you guys can discuss in the comments or something. Now, the next thing to talk about is a quick little thing about the auction house in the shrine. Now, if you're an engineer, you may be slightly worried in that the auctioneer had disappeared from the shrine in the PTR. As it turns out, this is a mistake, so engineers, you will still have your auctioneer, or your auction house thingy, in the shrine. You lucky bastards. That is so damn handy. You literally have one Hearthstone to take you to the place where everything you need is, which is good. Anyway, yes, this episode's done. I'm going to go and play Rome Total War even more. I finally got it a little bit better optimized in my system. They have a lot of work to do in terms of performance issues with that game, but hey, we'll make it work. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the show, please hit that like button and subscribe, and with that, I'll see you next time.